Hi, it's Helen from crochetmantra.com. Welcome. Let's get creative. And here we have the beautiful Crochet Mantra big diamonds baskets. And you can use them for yarn bowls, gift baskets, anything you like. The possibilities are endless. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Crochet Mantra, and go and have a look on my website, crochetmantra.com, and I have a Facebook group which is also under Crochet Mantra. Hi, so in order for us to start, we're going to need 2 balls of this. If you're going to pull the yarn, 1 from each ball like this, or if you can have the option to pull from the outside and also from the inside, because you only need 200 grams to make the beautiful diamonds basket. And this is one 200-gram ball of beautiful heavyweight variegated yarn. It's rainbow yarn and it's cotton candy. This was so cheap. Look, £3.99. On the back, if you were using 1 strand, it calls for a 5mm hook, but because we're using 2 strands for this pattern, we're going to use an 8mm hook. We'll also need a darning needle, a pair of scissors, and a stitch marker. Hi, so let's get started. I've already pulled off 2 strands from each ball of wool. Here's the 2 balls of wool. You can choose, if you wish, to pull 1 from the center and 1 from the outside of 1 ball of wool. We begin with a magic circle and a chain 1 to secure it. Okay, into this magic circle we need to put 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this is how we start the beautiful diamonds basket. Okay, so we've got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So once we've done that and we've checked that we have definitely got 6, we need to pull the tail of our circle, and that cinches in and pulls it in to make a nice circle like this. The next thing we need to do, that's round 1, is we need to slip stitch into the first single crochet that we put into our magic circle. Now take your time with this and make sure you go through all 4 strands. 1, 2, 3, 4, because we're working with 2 together, don't forget. Slip stitch to close the round. So that is round 1. For round 2, we're going to increase this to 12 stitches. So in order to do that, what we need to do is into each stitch we need to put 2 single crochet. Now we've already got a stitch into there, so we start here. It's easy to figure this out because you can count back. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know that that stitch there is the one that we need to put 2 single crochet and start round 2. So we put 2 single crochet. Now in that first single crochet, pop a stitch marker in. So that's 2, 3, 4. Remember 2 in each stitch. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and in the last one, because there's our stitch marker that tells us that's our number 1, we put a last 2 single crochet. So it's 1, and try and keep your stitches quite loose because you're working with a big hook and 2 strands of yarn at the same time, so just keep them nice and loose. There we go. So that is round 2, and we now have 12 single crochet. Round 3, we want to increase again. So what we do now is we've got 12 single crochet. So we need to remove our stitch marker and we slip stitch to the next stitch like so, and chain 1, and into that chain 1 we put our stitch marker, and we're going to now increase this to 24. So we need to put 2 single crochet into each stitch around. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So you can either follow me for a few and then pause the video, and I will meet you just before I get back up to the stitch marker here. Okay, so here we are again. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 stitch, 1 single crochet in each stitch around, which will give us another round of 24 single crochets. So we've got our stitch marker in. And we want to single crochet 1 stitch around. So that's 1, and we put our stitch marker into our first stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, and we'll carry on around and I'll meet you back up at the stitch marker. So that's 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so we're almost there. So this is the last but one. And there we are, this one's already got one in. So remove your stitch marker and slip stitch to the first single crochet, like so. So we've got 2 rows now of 24 stitches. So we chain 1, and into the next stitch. So now we need to increase now to 36 stitches. Okay, so we're at the end of row 4 and we have 24 stitches around. We need to take out the stitch marker and slip stitch into the next stitch like that and chain 1, and then into that same space we need to pop another single crochet into there like that and put our stitch marker back into that single crochet. So we've got 2 in there. Now what we need to do is we need to place 2 so there's 1 single crochet. Now we need 2 in the next stitch. This is an increase round. Like that, and then 1 in the next stitch, 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet, and that's the pattern for this round. So we go 2 single crochets into the same stitch, then 1 single crochet, then 2, then 1, then 2, and into this next stitch we'll have 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets go into there, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around, and by the time you get back to the stitch before the stitch marker you will have 36 single crochets. So I'll meet you back there. Okay, so we're at the end of this round and we've put in a double and we need to put in the final single crochet. There we go. And we remove our stitch marker and we stitch into the first single crochet. So not this little pretend stitch here, because that's the one that we link over. So we stitch into the first single crochet and have patience with it because it could be a little bit tricky, and chain 1. Okay, so the next thing we do is we want to keep the next round at 36 stitches. So we put 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So there's our next stitch. So we put 1 single crochet into there. Again, take a little bit of time with it because that first stitch is always a little bit tight. and try and make it loose, and into that first single crochet that we just made, pop your stitch marker. And now all we need to do is one single crochet in each stitch around, and that will give us 36 single crochet in that round. That's round, this will be round 6. So here we are at the end of the round, and we have 35 stitches, so we put one single crochet into the last stitch. That gives us 36 single crochets all the way around. Hi again. So I'm just about to put my last stitch here, my last single crochet, and that totals, count your stitches, and we will have 36 single crochet all around. So on to row 7, take your stitch marker out, slip stitch to the first stitch, so we slip stitch here, chain 1, and then we slip stitch, we single crochet into the next stitch. So that's 1, and we have to remember to put our chain, our stitch marker in, so we don't lose place of where the chain is. So that's 1, 2, 3, and this is our pattern. So we have 3 single crochet followed by 2 single crochet into the same stitch, like so, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet into that one, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And this is an increasing round, so this round will go all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and by the time we get back to the stitch before the stitch marker, we will have 45 stitches. So I'll see you there. And so we're back now. So I've just done 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and here I need to put in 1 and 2, like that. Okay, so that is the end of round 7, and we need to slip stitch now to the first single crochet, and we're going to increase again. So where we did 1, 2, 3 and a double, we're now going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and a double, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a double, all the way around. So we've put our double in, we've got 45 stitches. Take out our stitch marker, slip stitch, because that we don't stitch in that one because that's our slip stitch, that one there. So it might look like you've got an extra stitch, but you don't. It's your slip stitch up. It's this that we've just done. So that slip stitch is our little way that we move up onto the next row. So now we chain 1, and into the next stitch we put 1 chain, 1 single crochet. Oh dear. Like that, and because we mustn't forget, we put our stitch marker in, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's 4 single crochets that we've put in. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the previous row we put in 3. So we're increasing our round. So this is how we increase each time now. So this means that we will increase from 45 stitches up to 54 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we put in our 2 single crochet. When we put 2 into one stitch, that's the way we increase. So we've increased that from 1 stitch now up to 2. So this was 1 stitch, and because we've put 2 in there, we've now got, for the next row, we've got 2 extra stitches. Now we repeat the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1 single crochet in each stitch, followed by 2 single crochet, and repeat that all the way around until you get to the stitch before the stitch marker. So if you remember, we have our slip stitch, so it will be this one. Okay, so I'll see you back there. So we're coming now to the end of row 8, and this is when we're increasing again up to 54 stitches. So I've just put in my 4 singles here. So I'm going to end this row on, or round even I should say, on a double. And if you count your stitches all the way around, you will have 54 stitches, 54 single crochet all the way around. So we need to take our stitch marker out, and we need to single crochet or slip stitch rather into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull it through, and chain 1. Now we're going to increase again on the next round, so we're going to go from 54 stitches up to 63 stitches, which means we need to increase again. So what we do on this round, and you'll begin to see the pattern, the row below this one was 1, 2, 3 double. The next round was 1, 2, 3, 4 double. This round will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double, and we follow that all the way around. So we start in the next stitch in this one here. So here we slip stitched and we did a chain 1. Here we put in the first of our 5 single crochet, but before we do anything else, remember, we have to put our stitch marker back. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3. Remember to catch both strands every time and keep it as loose as you can. 4, pull some more yarn, and 5 single crochet like so, and then into the next one is where we put our first set of 2 single crochet, and we repeat this all the way around, and you will have 63 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, double, and so on, all the way around. So here we are. I'm on my last 5 stitches there, so I'll put my last pair of single crochet. In fact, that's a single crochet, not a double. 1 and 2. So there we go. And there is our slip stitch that we did. So there's our first crochet. So that will give us 63 stitches all the way around. Very nice. So for the next round, which is round 10, we slip stitch into the next stitch like that and chain 1, and then into the next stitch we do our first of yet another increase. So that's our first single crochet, and before we do anything else, we pop the stitch marker in to mark the first. So that's 1. So on this round, obviously, we go again as an increase. We're going from 63 to 72. So on this one, we do 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 single crochet in there in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 single crochet in the next one. So we're increasing each time around. So let's go ahead and do this. So that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's pull some more yarn so we don't have to pull. 5 and 6. So there's our 6 single crochet. This is the pattern. 6 single crochet followed by, in the next stitch, 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. So continue around until we get back to the stitch before the stitch marker. So we have the stitch marker and we have the slip stitch. So it's this one here. So I'll meet you back up here. So we're going 6 singles and a double. 6 singles and a double. See you in a minute. Hi, so here we are. I've just put my final 6 in, and in the last single crochet, because there's the slip stitch. So that's not a real stitch, that one there, because that, you can see it goes up at an angle, so you can always tell. The real stitches go round and follow round, but that was our slip stitch. So into our last stitch we put 2 single crochet, and there we go. And that, my lovelies, is the end of row 10. So the next round is our final round on the base, and that's round 11, and we're increasing again from 72 stitches in this round up to 81 stitches. And we do the same thing. So we take out our stitch marker and we slip stitch into that stitch where the stitch marker was, same as every other round. So there's our slip stitch. making sure you pull, unlike me, all the strands. There we go. And we chain 1. Okay, so that's the little crooked stitch that I was talking about on the row behind. So that's the one which will look like a stitch, but it isn't. And then into the next stitch we start our final round, which is round 11, with a single crochet, and we put our stitch marker back in. There we go. So by now you know the importance of stitch markers. So on this one we do exactly the same thing. So where we've increased on each row, we carry on increasing. So we did 4 singles and a double, 5 singles and a double, 6 singles and a double, and now this one is 7 singles and a double. And we repeat it all the way around until we get to this stitch here is the slip stitch, and we're aiming to get to this stitch here. Okay, and that will give us 81 stitches. So to repeat, we do 7 singles and a double, 7 singles and a double, 7 singles, and when I say double I mean 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we'll do the first pattern together. So there's 1. Make sure you've pulled off plenty of yarn. 2. 3. And 4. Oops. 5. 6. And 7. So there's our 7 single crochets. Into the next stitch we put 2 single crochets. So there's 1 and 2. And then we repeat the pattern then. 7 and then 2, 7 and then 2, all the way round until we get to this stitch here. And we will have 81 stitches, and I'll see you there.